Good evening. Tonight we're here with Marilyn Chambers, star of films and stage and probably many a wet dream. Marilyn, we haven't really seen you for a while. I mean, you've been on Midnight Blue and you've been around, but the audience really hasn't heard too much of you. What have you been doing?
Well, besides the Las Vegas gig I just did for 52 weeks, Mime of the Dirty Man. It was Mime of the Dirty Man. It was the longest running play in Las Vegas history. I got the key to the city from the mayor. Yeah. And I'm also an authoress. I have 2 books out, Marilyn Chambers, My Story, and the new one that's just out right now, Xavier Meets Marilyn Chambers by Warner Communication. Plus I write an article for Genesis magazine. Do you want me to go into it?
Sure. Why not?
I have a jewelry line. I have all sorts of things going.
Oh, so you're doing pretty well then.
Yeah.
What about the new show you have coming out?
Lay Belly Button.
Right.
Well, I'm really excited about it. I'm really super turned on to the whole thing because it's really the way I could describe it is it's a sexy musical. Okay, that's really a cliche these days to say something like that, but I could compare it to like Hair, O Calcutta type of a show. Although it has a lot of very sexy, wild dancing in it, very funny skits.
Nudity?
Total nudity. Not all the time. Now, there's like a disco number where I'm wearing a vest and, it'll go open every now and then. It'll be kind of titillating. I would call it a review type of a thing because that there's a skit, blackout dance, blackout number, this, that, the other thing, so fast that the lighting, the music, the comedy is all important.
Right. Well, you've been staying away from porn films, it seems, but in actual fact, I guess you work a lot with the Mitchell brothers, and you have a new release out now on the West Coast. It's supposed to be coming to New York sometime. Inside Marilyn Chambers, I think it's called. Are you going to be coming back into films, or are you planning to stay in the
actually, let me explain about that film. And I'm not trying to apologize for it or anything, but the Mitchell brothers made a documentary of my career in X films, which is to date 2 films, Behind the Green Door and Resurrection of Eve, and put together the outtakes that they didn't use for the films, and later told me about it after they'd done it. So we made the right deal, and I decided that I would promote the film because it's I think there's some sexy shots in there, and I don't think that it hurts me at all. And I think that as far as it's not any really new footage that you haven't seen. It's things that they didn't use in the film, like different angles, different shots, things like that. But, my fans, I'm sure, would find it interesting. We're doing some appearances in New York when the film comes to town, which I believe will probably be in about 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know for sure, but I hope to meet my fans because that's something I really enjoy doing.
What were you looking for in porn back then, really? I mean,
what was I looking for?
Yeah, well...
probably the same thing everybody else was.
Which ones?
Well, for me, it was instant stardom because of the Green Door and the Ivory Snow and the whole chain of events that led to, the whole big thing. What I was looking for was, I'm sure what everyone else, as I said before, was looking for was a shot in the dark. Nobody knew. And for me, it worked. Behind the Green Door worked. Deep Throat worked. Devil and Miss Joan worked. And in the Resurrection of Eve worked for me, but those are the only 2 films that I'd done.
Right. Well, let's loosen up a little bit and talk about Marilyn Chambers and her sexuality. What are you into, first of all, just on a personal level?
As far as what goes?
Sex.
Sex. That's such a general subject these days.
Yeah.
Well, people say to me, it's funny, people say, well, do you have any fantasies left? I said, of course. I use the same old ones over and over again, but they're just as good.
Yeah.
I really am I like to fantasize when I have sex. And I find that not because I'm bored, but because I really dig putting myself in other situations, and I love to be submissive, and I love to be tied up and all sorts of things. I mean, really. I mean, because I like to live out my fantasies. I mean, like some people, which is cool, like to just fantasize about their fantasies.
Right.
But I really like to live them out. So I have some fun doing that.
Give us an example of one.
Of one?
Sure.
Well, you know, the same old thing. I'm sure you've all heard it many times before with the old S&M. You know, being tied up. And I really like to be blindfolded, but a tight one, you know, so I can't get it off, you know. I'm going like this, and my hands are tied. But because I find I get very disorientated when I'm being turned around and everything, and I don't really know where I am, and I don't know what's going to happen next. And I think that the whole anticipation, it's funny, because I write a column for Genesis magazine. I just got this letter yesterday from this guy who said he really enjoyed reading really scary books or seeing a really scary movie because it really turned him on. And did I think that was weird? You know, he would like to make love on a tombstone in a cemetery, you know, at midnight or something, and did I think that was weird? And really, no, because I felt that it was being a type of a masochist that likes to, you know, the anticipation of they don't know what's going to happen next type of a thing, and that's, you know, that's how I feel.
Well, what to you is weird?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Really, I feel that, you know, perversion is in the eyes of the beholder, and really, nothing to me is obscene.
And even Al Goldstein.
Oh, I love him. Are you kidding?
Well,
who doesn't?
Sure. When you say the S&M kind of fantasy, this is something that's progressed.
It's very
that you've gradually kind of. It is extremely. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because I think that people are starting to be able to look at themselves and say, "Hey, I like kinky things. I'm not weird. I don't have to feel guilty about it anymore. Let's be honest. Let's live out our fantasies. I mean, it's fun. What's the big deal?" So you you know, a guy likes to get tied up and beaten by his girlfriend. I mean, usually that type of thing is very degrading to a man, and he feels like he's not a man because he likes that. But that's not true at all. You know?
Do you? I mean, how about if we all tied you up here?
How about if you all? Oh, I'd
you
love
did the
it.
interview like that. Would be very interesting. Peter Brennan will get into that actually.
Actually, I'm very shy, so you'd have to take me by surprise.
Yes. Well, is this show that you're doing now sort of S&M oriented at all? Do you have S&M bits in it? Do you have...
One, the honeymoon scene, which is two very straight people who are, you know, going to this hotel room, and the guy is this really mushy, horrible, mushy type of thing, like, "Oh, I love you, Mrs. Draper," type of thing. And but then he really gets in this whole S&M thing and throws her this blonde wig and this whip and these black boots, and she doesn't know what to do with it, and the whole thing takes off from there. So there is some of that in there.
Did you have anything to do with scripting?
No.
Nothing whatsoever?
No.
Getting back into sexuality, which intrigues me considerably. You are extremely sexy in person.